Papa Brown, this man is beyond words. I know they always say give them their flowers while they're living. How about I want to give this man 1,000,000 acres of land? I thought I never had a father until I recalled Papa. All these years I've been lying and telling people that I was never raised by a father. But to be honest with you, I met Pops when I was in my late 20s. I lived in one of his houses. He used to tell me his stories about his early beginnings in America when he arrived here from the parish of St. Anne's in Jamaica. I listened closely with my ear in his mouth because I was so fascinated by his humble beginnings. He told me how he worked the sugar plantation in Florida, and then he got a chance to bring over his 4 children and wife. In one pop, never leaving one behind. He worked for a company named Kaiser. He mentioned his work at Kaiser so much that I'll never forget that name. He never got a chance to finish school. I think he finished 5th grade. I don't believe he went past 5th grade, but he worked and said, look at this. He worked and said, oh, no, not said, saved. See, this is editing my journal. Yes. He worked and saved him little money and carried his family, brought his family here from Jamaica. He was able to save his money and purchase a 2-family brownstone in Brooklyn. Look at that. He taught his children how to save their money to fund their dreams as well. My dear friend Ven was his firstborn. He then followed and had 3 more strong sons. I lived in their home when I was in my early 30s. Mama would allow me to cook with her in her kitchen. Since I shared a kitchenette with a rude neighbor, it was such a delight to be in their kitchen. Smells of Jamaican pimento, fried escovitch fish, bully beef, nutmeg, and saltfish permeated my nostrils on a daily basis. I felt like a spoiled child while living in their home. Mama would ask me to come taste the pot and tell her what it needed. I would tell her, I'm not the Jamaican. I'm learning from you. Yes, I did learn. I learned how to be patient with my cooking and not to rush the pot. I learned how to take time with cooking and let the taste get into the food. Mama and Papa Brown would do a gully dance around me. Pops would tell me he bought goat head and what's that? Oh, okay. I was writing fast. A morning thing. And made manish water and left a big bowl for me. Manish water was drank by the men most of the time to keep them body fit for the woman. But women needed strength to handle the men, in Papa Brown's opinion. While all children were not living at the house, I was there being spoiled. I was so thankful. I had a friend at work who looked forward to the many occasions when I brought in cornmeal pudding and sweet potato pudding slices to work. Mama Enid Brown would make this on a regular basis. She would appear to be putting in her entire spice rack in dessert, and that's what made it taste so alive. She was not afraid to use her flavorings. A West Indian woman's seasonings were their must-haves. You couldn't say seasonings and spice. You couldn't say you cooked if your spice and seasoning stock wasn't fit. When I sat down to partake of the Manish water, I didn't study that I was eating goat skin. I didn't grow up eating goat skin, but because of that fact, I ate every bit of it with no complaints. Plus, it tasted heavenly with a nice kick of pepper. Mama Brown would also throw down on escovitch fish. Her fish was made with a lot of vinegar and hot and sweet peppers. These are special spices, not there. These are special spices that Jamaicans cook with that no one else uses throughout the Caribbean that makes it so unique. God is good. Well, I would say the special spices that I should have mentioned was the pimento. That's something that they use that most people don't use. I'm not talking about the pimento of Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, and all of that. I'm not talking about the pepper, that. I'm talking about the little thing that look like a peppercorn. That's something that I know Jamaicans use that I don't know many other people use. They may use it in a powder where they probably break it up and they will call it allspice. They use it in their food like fish and thing and goat and thing. But that was just a little piece of story about, that's just part one of my story about the Browns and Pops. But I have one more page, two more pages, 2.5 more pages to talk about them. And I didn't even finish. So I was on a roll and I stopped. But as you can see, you were probably in the kitchen tasting the food while I was talking about the escovitch fish, the Manish water, all of them kind of, all them thing there, right? All them kind of thing there. So that's just a piece of the coconut shell, where I get the name from, the eye of the coconut shell. That's really the theme of my page, based on my experiences with Caribbean people. But I went into all of this other things, which is okay because I let the spirit be my guide. But after I did that video with Dr. G, and somebody picked up a Caribbean accent, and then the other person said it was misleading. They said that I wasn't African American. I said, well, let me tell my story so people get an idea as to why I'm different, what makes me so unique. Let's put it that way. Because my experiences were unique. I was living in a Jamaican home. I've also tried to live in Jamaica before. We're going to talk about that. And I've also tried to live in Trinidad and Tobago before. We're going to talk about that. Just haven't really dug into it as much. But talking about Pops, he's 91 now this month. And he's been in my life since I was in my 20s. And I think about him, I just, I get emotional because we can't talk as long on the phone. But he's the father, my spiritual father, that I've always longed for. The one that knows when to pray, knows how to pray. I have a prayer where he prayed the last time I saw him. I might share it with you because he pierced my young one's heart. She said, he almost got me. He almost got me. Well, he needs to get you. And you need some of that. All of us need some of Papa Brown. All of us. A very humble soul. Nurturing and loving. The father I've always dreamed of. And the father I always had in him. Thank you for listening. Peace.